What's going on, guys? K-Pine here and welcome back. And in this week's video, I have both a strong team and a fun team in the Element Cup remix. Dewpider on the lead, Vulpix as the safe swap, and Slugma in the back. Dewpider is just such a strong pick in this meta, as it doesn't really have any hard counters since it has Bug Bite for the grass types, Bubble Beam for the fire types, and just does so well against the waters. And that's what makes it such a great lead. And I'm running Vulpix with Quick Attack on the swap, which is where it really shines. Make sure you're running Quick Attack and not Ember on yours. The energy generation from Quick Attack is too good, plus it has Weather Ball for the fire type move coverage. And this is where the fun is, Rock Throw Slugma. It's such a good sweeper with how oppressive Rock Throw is, but I generally try and save a shield or two for it since it's so extremely glassy. But that's why I'm pairing it up with two other bulkier mons. And with that, let's get into the battles. Alright, getting to the first battle, we have a Shadow Exeggcute on the lead. And have you seen an Exeggcute get absolutely deleted before? Because if not, now you have. And you just know my opponent went back to the drawing board with that one. GG's. Alright, next battle, we have Dewpider on the lead into the mirror. What I'd like to do in this matchup is I will build all the way up to the mirror coat and then throw the mirror coat. Whether my opponent goes Bubble Beam before or not, it's not a big deal. They do go for the Bubble Beam. I get this mirror coat off. This will do less damage since they went for the Bubble Beam, but it's fine. I'm not worried about it. So now I build up to another move. I have that Bubble Beam stored. My opponent's going to throw a move. This will most likely be mirror coat, but I will survive it. So I'm going to store this energy and swap into my Vulpix to then get an energy lead against whatever they have in the back. And it is their own Vulpix. So now with this energy lead and even on shields, my Vulpix is gonna put in a lot of work. They do commit a shield on the first body slam, and I will match shields in return. I'm gonna throw this body slam right before their next one. See if my opponent wants to give up their second one or not. They don't, they let it go. And because I have all this energy on my Vulpix, this energy lead, I am actually willing to give up my second shield here because I feel like Vulpix could potentially put in a ton of work against whatever their third Pokemon is as well. So I throw this next body slam on the CMP tie. Unfortunately, we do get their final shield instead of taking out their Vulpix, but that's fine because now I can get an energy lead on my Slugma, and it's a Shadow Bulbasaur. So now a move from the Shadow Bulbasaur is going to hurt Slugma. So we catch. Allows us to come back in with the Slugma, and our opponent concedes. GG's. Next battle, we have Dewpider into the mirror again. So we're going to play it out like last time. Build up to the mirror coat, then throw the mirror coat. This time my opponent builds up to the move with me, and we unfortunately lose the CMP tie. But that's fine since they went for a mirror coat instead of a Bubble Beam. So my attack is not lowered. This mirror coat is going to do some nice damage. I do get a shield from my opponent, surprisingly, but that's fine. So since I did get a shield, I can't play it out the same. I am going to throw this Bubble Beam, and then I'm going to dip into my Vulpix. So now a debuffed Bubble Beam isn't going to do much damage at all. I'm hoping that they stay in, but they have a Rock Throw Slugma in the back of their own, and that's not great since I'm only going to be able to get to one quick attack or one body slam in this situation. So now I'm forced here to come in with my Slugma, Rock Throw down, and hopefully it's something that Slugma can handle in the back, but it ends up being a Seel. And unfortunately, see how absolutely oppressive those licks are? There's absolutely no way we're going to win that one. So GG's. Next battle, Dewpider into Seel. This is great. This is exactly where we want to see the Seel. We're going to play it out similarly to the Dewpider mirror lead. We're going to throw the mirror coat as soon as we get it. Our opponent makes a mistake here. They let us throw off this mirror coat before they throw off an Icy Wind. But because of that, they're going to store that energy, swap it to Dewpider, and we're going to meet it with our Slugma. Slugma against Dewpider. You win the zeros if you tank a Bubble Beam. But, and that's what I'm going to do right here. And if you shield Against the Dewpider's Bubble Beam, unfortunately, you won't be able to farm down in time. You will have to throw a move, otherwise they will reach a second Bubble Beam. But it is advantageous to play that out in other scenarios. But in this case, it was better for me to play the zeros. So I'm going to come in and get more farm on my own Dewpider. See if they're going to bring in their third or the Seel. It is their third. It's a Vulpix. And this is good for us because we get to throw off our Bubble Beam right here and then dip into our own Vulpix. Plus we have a shield advantage. And my opponent decides to throw a Body Slam, which is even better because this is a debuffed Body Slam and I have no need to shield it, especially since this opposing Seel is going to reach 2 Aqua Tails. I will get this Body Slam off here. See, my opponent wants to expend their final shield. They do. So I will shield this second Aqua Tail in return. I will overfarm a little bit and throw off this Body Slam right before they reach a third Aqua Tail. This will take out the Seel. Now I'm gonna throw this Body Slam against their Vulpix and then switch into my Dewpider. And check this out. Dewpider Bug Bites resisted are doing more damage than the Vulpix Quick Attack on Dewpider. That's absolutely crazy considering it's a resisted move, but 1-turn fast moves in this meta are just, in the little cups, are just so overpowered. And it forces them to throw a move, which is absolutely crazy. So we take that one. Next match into the Dewpider versus Vulpix. I like to switch into my Vulpix and go into the mirror to check to see if they have a fire counter in the back to potentially free up my Slugma to sweep. In this situation, my opponent's staying in, which is giving me hope that Vulpix is their best answer to fire types. So they will commit a shield there. I will let this one go because I know I will survive it and be able to get off this second Body Slam of mine. I'm hoping my opponent lets it go, but I actually end up getting their second shield, and that's okay too, because I can bring in my Slugma right here to rock throw down. I will have to shield up a move, or I just switch and catch the move onto Dewpider and don't have to worry about that. And they have a Razor Leaf Oddish in the back. I'm trying to get to the Bubble Beam in time. I get there just in time, and this is great. Since now the Oddish is debuffed, I don't have to worry about how much damage the Razor Leafs will do, especially since Slugma is so glassy. We'll have to shield up a move here. Now I just check what their third is. Potentially another grass type. It is another grass type, so I can safely get to this Flame Charge, take out the Turtwig, and then subsequently rock throw down the Vulpix as well. GG's to my opponent. Now, I absolutely love Slugma in this meta. It's so fun. You leave shields for it. They bring in a fire type, you bring in a Slugma, and it's just absolutely gone in seconds. Litwick on the lead. This is a fine matchup for Dewpider. I generally like to throw the Bubble Beam, get some nice little chip damage on it, and then swap into my Vulpix to check for a fire counter. You see, generally the playstyle for this team is if it's a fire type on the lead, you will want to safe swap out into your own Vulpix right away or eventually. And if it's anything else, you pretty much just stay in with the Dewpider for the most part, since Vulpix has tons of neutral play. And my opponent makes a nice catch on their Dewpider, but ends up being on the Weather Ball, which is what you want to throw out at Dewpider anyways, since both Weather Ball and Body Slam are neutral against the Dewpider, but Weather Ball gets stabbed, same type attack bonus, and does slightly more damage. So neutral situations, just remember to always throw Weather Ball instead of Body Slam. Dewpider is just barely able to take me out. We do have shield advantage, which is fantastic. So I'll come in with my Dewpider. I'm expecting Litwick to come back in, so I immediately swap into my Slugma to get some rock throw damage, but they stay in and throw a move. And unfortunately, again, like I'm just saying, Slugma is just so extremely glassy that even a fire type move, I am gonna have to shield up. They have a Chikorita in the back, and this isn't great since Chikorita has access to Body Slam, which is extremely spammy, as we all know. But I will be able to throw off this Flame Charge here, get their final shield, ramp up my rock throws. not able to rock throw down in time. Hopefully Dewpider can come in and close it out, which we do. We bug bite down the Chikorita. Are we able to reach this Bubble Beam in time before the Embers plus Flame Charge takes us out? Flame Charge is quite a bit of damage, and we're just barely able to get to the Bubble Beam in time and take this one. GG's to my opponent. It's a close one. Next battle, we have Dewpider into Seel. Again, where we want to see it, we're going to stay in. But my opponent swaps out into an Ember Shadow Growlithe. And that's fantastic because we can just shield once, farm all the way down. And we should be able to get this shield back against the Seel, as most Seals will shield. So that's why I'm going for the Flame Charge here. It's a risky bait. If they call it, it's a little costly, but still does a good amount of damage, which they do call it. A little unfortunate, but that's fine. We can just come in with our Dewpider, tank all the moves the Seel has to throw, since anything that they throw will be resisted. They swap out into their Vulpix, and now they have an energy lead, a quick attack lead. But fortunately, they allow me to throw first, so now we're back on even energy. In that situation, if you swap out into, and your opponent swaps into the mirror, you want to throw first. Because if they throw first, you're now even on energy, but if you throw first, it denies them of a fast move, so now you're ahead. It's a very weird situation like that, but I will tank their first move. Get the shields off my opponent. My opponent's now down shields. I will shield this up in return, hoping to get off my body slam, but I lose CMP. A little unfortunate. But now the Vulpix is energy dry. I will throw this Bubble Beam on to the Vulpix. They do end up catching, but that's fine. I needed to pretty much throw a move in the Seel in the first place, since this body slam, a weather ball from the Vulpix, is going to do a decent amount of damage. I am just barely able to get to the Mirror Coat in time. Bubble Beam probably would have been enough, but I just want to make sure from there. Oh, also, against fire types, if you're only going to get to one move, throw Mirror Coat. Mirror Coat, since Bubble Beam is a debuff move, it doesn't do much damage, and even against a super effective Pokemon like Vulpix, Mirror Coat does more damage than Bubble Beam. So just something to keep in mind as well. But the Dewpider Mirror, my opponent stores that energy. They switch out into a Fomantis. We have a brilliant answer for Fomantis. We can take this Leaf Blade, farm up right before the next Leaf Blade, throw out this Weather Ball, see if they want to shield or not, which they do. So now I am going to shield in return. I could have thrown right there, but I was expecting them to try and CMP tie me. So I will overfarm to not let that happen. That's all right. I'm going to throw off this next Weather Ball right away. See if he gets their final shield or not. Nope. They let their Fomantis go down. See what they want to come in with. It is their own Slugma, and we fall just short of a quick attack, but that's fine. That quick attack damage was perfect for us. We do end up getting a lot of damage. We will be able to rock throw down in time. But then they swap in their Dewpider, and here I make a crucial mistake. I swap out into my own Dewpider, and as soon as I realize this, I'm like, oh shoot, I'm done. You see, I could have thrown that Bubble Beam there, but they still had a shield, and then I was away from a move on my Slugma. If I stayed in with my Slugma, I would have outpaced to a move, and then I would have also reached a move, that Bubble Beam on my Dewpider. But a little bit of a misplay there. It's unfortunate, but it happens. GG's to my opponent. Well played to them. Wooper Lead. Exactly where we want to see the Wooper, as this would absolutely destroy our back line. Opponent is going to throw a Body Slam. Wooper just so spammy with Mud Shot and Body Slam combinations, with it being 4 Mud Shots to every Body Slam. So we take the second. Going to throw my Mirror Coat right before they reach their third. See what my opponent wants to do. They let it go. That's fine. I'm going to let this Body Slam go, and then I'm going to immediately safe swap into my Vulpix to get ahead on energy, but my opponent safe swaps into a Chikorita themselves, and that's exactly where we want to see the Chikorita. This Weather Ball is going to do tons of damage. And since my opponent let it go, I'm going to let it go too. And I'm going to trust that Slugma with 2 shields is going to be able to close out this game, as there's not much in the Little Cup meta that can survive 2 shield rock throws from Slugma. And it ends up being a Vulpix, which we should have absolutely no problem dealing with. An Ember Vulpix at that, so they're even slower at the charge moves. We can safely shield this one up. The rock throw went through, so we'll take down their Vulpix. Back in comes the Wooper, and my opponent knows it's over at this point. GG's to them. Next battle, lead into another Wooper. Against Wooper leads, always be prepared to swap out into your Slugma right away, since most Wooper leads have a fire type in back, and it all depends whether they stay in and go against your Dewpider. And if they stay in, then you stay in yourself. But if they switch into a Vulpix, which a Wooper Vulpix is a very common pairing, you have to be very, very quick into your swap into your Slugma, since you have to maintain swap. If you swap right away into your Slugma and don't let their Vulpix get a quick attack head start, or 2 quick head starts, you should be able to rock throw down in time before they reach 2 body slams. As you'll see here, I was slow on the swap to the Vulpix, so they're able to reach 2 body slams in time. But if you're able to swap right away into your Slugma, you should be able to rock throw down with only giving up 1 shield. Back in comes the Wooper, and I will throw this Flame Charge on the CMP tie, which is great because it doesn't allow their Wooper to overfarm anymore. Body Slam takes me out. I'm going to bring in, what do I bring in here? I bring in my Vulpix to try and get ahead on energy, and it's an Ember Tepic in back. This is a good situation from your Vulpix, somewhat tanky in this meta. Not worried about anything that Tepic has to throw. They do win CMP. That's perfectly okay. Body Slam does decent chunk of damage. That's okay. My Body Slam will do quite a bit in return. And I'm going to let the Tepic actually take out my Vulpix so I can get more farm on my Dewpider. As at this moment, the Dewpider should be able to bug bite the Wooper down, which it does. GG's. This team is probably my favorite Little Cup team I have run so far. So if you're looking for a very solid and strong team as well as a fun one, give this one a try. Guarantee you won't be disappointed. But anyways, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.